UFC 202 goes down Saturday, August 20th. It will be live on pay-per-view. The main event for this UFC card will once again be the notorious one, Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. It will be a welterweight bout, 170-pound limit. The first time these two met was on March 5th of this year, Diaz getting the rear naked choke win. The purpose of these videos will be to help you determine if some of these main event cards, both in boxing and mixed martial arts, are worth your time. Are they true super fights? Are they worth your hard-earned money? In this video, we will look at Conor McGregor's last 5 fights, if they were legit or media hype bouts. First, we'll go back to September 27, 2014, Conor McGregor versus Dustin the Diamond Poirier, UFC 178. This was only Conor McGregor's first UFC fight on pay-per-view, and he defeated Dustin by TKO in the first round. Again, McGregor was a relatively unknown fighter in the UFC and was starting to make a statement. Fast forward to January 16th, 2015, UFC Fight Night 59, Conor McGregor main event versus Dennis Siver. McGregor once again dominates the bout and this time stopped his opponent in the second round. TKO punches. This was the bout that helped push Conor McGregor toward that glass ceiling and would move on to fight the very well known, very well respected Team Alpha Male's Chad Money Mendes. 6 months later, on July 11, 2015, UFC 189, which was the headlining bout. Conor McGregor brought many new eyes to the sport with this bout. Who was this loose-lipped, foul-mouthed, young upstart from Ireland? Chad Mendes found out in 2 rounds when he got TKO'd via punches by Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor broke his glass ceiling in that bout, and although he didn't have a recognized title in the UFC, he had won online fans, and his next bout against Jose Aldo was one of the biggest talked about fights of late last year. It was very anticipated, and Conor McGregor took advantage of the promotional tour and tormented Jose Aldo through the entire bout's promotion. Jose Aldo had not lost a fight in 10 years, and the McGregor trolling of Aldo did pay off, and it paid off because UFC 194 was one of the biggest UFC events in history, and McGregor delivered, knocking out Jose Aldo in 13 seconds of the first round and establishing himself as a true champion and not just a media hype job. In his next bout, which he decided to take 3 months after at 2 weights higher, Conor McGregor fought against the 31-year-old 6-foot Nate Diaz. McGregor did great in the first round but fell apart in the second, being submitted by the veteran and Cesar Gracie fight team's Diaz. Did Conor McGregor start believing his own hype and take the Diaz fight thinking that he would steamroll a man who was 2 weights heavier than he regularly fights at against a guy who was taller than him, more experienced, and had a bigger reach? Perhaps yes, he did start believing his own hype, but he was willing to take that risk to find out, and that's what makes Conor McGregor great. His willingness to face better and bigger opposition in all of his bouts. And that's what he's done. He's progressively fought better fighters since debuting in the UFC, and in his last 5 fights, it proves that he is not a media hype job. And this next bout, this rematch against Nate Diaz, could potentially be fight of the year if they both decide to bring it at UFC 202. In my opinion, Conor McGregor, last 5 opponents have all been legit opponents. I give him a battle rating of 5 stars. UFC 202, Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. The rematch happens August 20th.